Hey there everyone, today I'm going to give you a dem on advanced pattern sketching. So we'll be going into Fusion and doing custom rectangular patterns. Well, they won't really be rectangular, but yeah. So I'll show you an example of what we're going to be doing. So this is an example here, like a hexagonal mesh. And the reason we're doing this is because we're going to experiment with molding this. So we'll heat this up after it's printed and see if we can mold it around stuff to make, different types of structures and things like that. So without further ado, let's go and get stuck into it. So this is the example. I went through and did this yesterday. What we're going to do, it's about 60 millimeters wide. These hexagons are about 5 millimeters across, so it's fairly small. But yeah, what I'll do now is jump in and give you guys the dem of what we're doing. So as always, to start with, we'll turn on our origin and we're going to place down two different sketches. I'll show you why in the future. So we're going to put down a sketch here, and first thing we're going to do is put down our circle. Now this can be any shape that you want your meshed structure to fit into, and so that's going to be 62. And then I want about a 2 or 3 millimeter border around this. So 62 minus 6 would be 56. So I'll have a little 3 millimeter border on each side. Okay, and then what we're going to do here is in the very middle, we're going to place a polygon. Okay, so it's going to be a circumscribed polygon. It really doesn't matter which type you use. These first two are good because you can place them directly on a point, which will be our center. So here, we're going to put this across and we're going to make that, it's 5 mil radius. So we'll do 2.5 across. And I just want to make sure that this is going vertical. So what I might do is put that there and see if I can put in a coincident constraint to make this, so make this point there. Cool. So that's one way that we can align our shapes. So I'm not going to finish the sketch here. What I'm going to do next is use the rectangular pattern tool to, instead of going straight up and straight across, I'm going to draw two custom lines that align with the edges of the hexagon, so I can repeat it in that way. So one line will start here, it'll be a construction line, it'll go out along this axis, and the other one will go up this way, perpendicular to this surface. Okay, and these are the references that we need to make our custom grid. So I'll go to my line tool, I'll hit construction, and I'll click once over here. And it doesn't really matter where I place this line, like where it ends. It can be a short one, can be a long one, but I'm just going to put it to the edge of the circle. And I'll do another one going up this way. And what I'm looking for here is a 90-degree reference down here. I want it to be perpendicular. It's really important. If it's not perpendicular, then when you line all these shapes up, the grid won't look right. So here I've got two references, and these are going to be the directions for repetition of my grid. So when you go to the Create Rectangle tool, you'll have two directions, and you can actually set custom directions. It defaults to up, down, left, right as the way you want to repeat a certain shape. But we can actually change those to set new references. That can work really well for polygons like this. So I'm going to jump in. We're still in the same sketch, so I'm going to go rectangular pattern, and under objects, I'm just going to draw a box around this. Okay, so that's all those elements selected there. And you'll see here directions. We go here and we select our directions here. If we don't do that, see how it just defaults to straight up and straight down? So I'll go select and hit that, and then I'll also hit that. So see how our arrows have changed to this direction and that direction. So every every repetition that I do will be by a spacing. And so this way you get to set the specific amount between your repeats, right? So if I set my spacing to, so it should be the diameter of the parallel lines here, which would be 5. Anything you add to that will be the distance between the repetitions. So if I put in 6 here, that's a 1 millimeter gap. All right, so if I put in 7, that'll be a 2 millimeter gap in between, right? So I'm repeating from here. So the distance between here and here will be 7, which is, you know, the distance of a whole hexagon plus the gap. So it's 5 millimeters wide. 5 plus 2 is 7. So for this one, I might just make it 6. Okay, and while I'm on this one, I'll go spacing, quantity 3. I'll leave it at that for now. And I'll go symmetric. Cool. And so what I've got here is a hexagon on either side, and all I need to do now to get the amount that I want is this. Okay, so I want to go and repeat that outside until I'm pretty much outside of the box. Okay, so I won't go okay on this just yet. I'll go to the next one, and I'll set this distance to be the same as this, 6 millimeters. And you'll notice that it's taken that whole line of repetitions and done them symmetrically on either side as well. So all I need to do here is up the amount. It'll add 1 on each side in turn. And what I'm aiming to do here is to fill up the inner circle with hexagons. I'm not going to worry about the ones on the outside. They don't concern me at this point. And I want to pay close attention to the borders of my circle. So if I add another line here, I know that this one isn't required because at this point here doesn't go into that inner circle there. So I can put that down. It really doesn't matter if you do too many or too little. Yeah, that looks good. And so after I go, so this is pretty much my pattern repetition done. So after I go okay on this, the thing that I really want to use is this shape. Yeah? So you see how this mesh here, made by these hexagons, is constrained by this inner circle, right? So that's going to give us an opportunity to extrude just the thing that we want. However, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to finish this sketch. And then actually, no, I don't want to finish that sketch. I want to edit this sketch again, and I want to select this circle and this circle. And I'll copy these 2 circles out. I'll go Control-C and copy those circles out. You can only copy stuff from an active sketch, so you have to be in edit mode. You can copy whatever you want and then paste it into other sketches. So I'm going to copy those 2 circles. I've already hit Control-C. I'll go Finish. Then I'm going to add a new sketch. And that will be on this horizontal plane as well. All right. And all I'm going to do here is paste. So I can go right-click down to paste, or just go Control-V. And then I'm going to finish that sketch. And the reason that I'm doing this, you'll see in a second. So this is what your mesh will look like after it's done, and after my computer stops freezing. Cool. That's what it'll look like. You can put this inside any shape. You can constrain it any way that you want. So the first step on making this mesh will be to go to that first shape that we picked out here. All right, and I'm going to hit Extrude. And I'll put this up to 1 millimeter. Okay, so that's going perfectly inside that circle, up to 1 millimeter. I might make it 2, just for laughs, and that's pretty much all I need to do. It's a new body. I'll go okay on that. Now, once I've interacted with that sketch, it'll disappear by default. Okay, so it's still there, but it'll disappear. That works really well for me because the next phase is to go to the second sketch, which is still visible, and all I need to do is go extrude and extrude it up by as much as I want. You don't have to do 2, you could do 3, 4 millimeters if you need it to be thicker. You might want to measure something. I believe the plywood that we're fitting it into is 3 mils, so I'll give this a go. And that's pretty much it. It's a join, so it's all one body, and that's pretty much it. So these meshes can be really good because this is a thermoplastic. Once you 3D print it, you can heat it with a heat gun and stretch it over whatever mold that you want. So in the end, what we want here is for this model to kind of have a bit of a dome structure. 3D printing, that would be really, like, it just wouldn't look very good. It would need a lot of support, so it would take a lot of time. So this is a quicker, easier, higher quality way of making those types of structures. So there you go. In class, I'll show you the result. And have a go at this and come and talk to me if you need to know how to apply it. Thanks for watching.